But football's become soft like our country has become soft.
And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight, Tracy, and I promise you that.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I hate football!
They're like, Pat, how'd you punch so well today? I'm like, good question.
Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? Yes, I did. So I packed it up and brought it back to you.
Fellas, welcome back. Laces Out Show. That's at Laces Out Show on Instagram and on Twitter. Joined always as I am this week. It's always easy for me to say by AJ Hawk. AJ official AJ Hawk.
Correct.
And Pat McAfee Show. Welcome, guys. I want to get into your weekend a little bit. We got a lot to get to. But Pat, you weren't doing the tailgate show this week.
Yeah, we did not do the tailgate show. I believe it was a sample 6 to see if they wanted to continue either further next season or this season. I'm not sure of all the logistical conversation, but we gave it a good 6 run, and now I think it's in somebody else's hands to decide on how much for. I don't know. I was just told 6, and then we're going to resample it or whatever. So, yeah, no traveling for me, but I went hiking. It's my first time in my life going hiking. You know what that is, AJ? Walking in the woods. You ever go hiking, AJ?
Yeah, well, I love the woods, but why did you, or where did you go hiking in Indy? Do they have any kind of, usually there's kind of hills or mountains involved.
There was terrain, AJ. Thank you. There was terrain. I went all the way up to 1,025 feet above sea level at one point. Thank you very much.
Now, Pat, what made you do this, and who did you hike with?
So my lady friend and her best friend and her husband, who's a fucking first sergeant Army Ranger, who is a professional hiker. That's what he's a professional hiker. He came in wearing like the kit, the hiking, like the war kit with weighted vests in it because he was training. Like, yeah, we did a 6-mile hike, and then it was 0.8 miles of walking from the car to the trail, then the trail back to the car. So 0.4 miles away. You had to hike 0.4 miles to hike. And I'm going to tell you this. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I got a blister on my foot. That's why I'm wearing these damn slippers, because I got something on the back of my feet. My feet have gone soft. It's an interesting situation, man. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to get out there and hike. But I'm dead tired, bro. I'm not meant to. I'm tired right now. My legs are sore. I'm not used to cardio. That was like a cardio sitch.
But it's got to be better for you than, I don't know, like being in a stool bus and
chugging beers.
Yeah, pounding beers with a bunch of 18-year-olds and whatever. But I mean, when you're with an Army Ranger, though, it sounds to me like that's just asking for trouble, because he's going to walk at a pace that a normal person can't.
Yeah, but it was a good thing that it was like 3 of us versus him, though. Me and the ladies, we're like, hey, bub, maybe he called them compass checks. He said, when we wanted to stop, we got to call them compass checks. I was like, hey, I got to compass check this shit right now. I don't know where we do that at. Is there a particular log that I got to compass check? But he was an incredible pathfinder. He was a pathfinder. That's lingo, real quick. Pathfinder in hiking. And I was just lucky to be out there. I had a great fucking time. I really enjoyed it. Took a large amount of edibles. A large amount of edibles. I mean, I was wandering through those woods. I was looking for really, I think hiking is just one big search for Bigfoot, and it's in a choreographed layout. And everybody's just looking for the same goddamn guy, and that's Bigfoot.
I can't help but picture this guy with like a camelback, and he might have some low, whatever, some power bars, and you're working with like a $5 foot long.
Yeah. Egg McMuffin, actually. Thanks for bringing that up. Egg McMuffin. And I had some beef jerky. I mean, we were rocking out there. We were going. I had an allegedly shirt on with my own mugshot right there on my chest, and he had a full sack ready to go into war if we had to, and that's why I was happy he was there.
And you were where, AJ? You were at Texas Tech?
Yep, I was in beautiful Lubbock to call the Texas Tech Iowa State game. Iowa State looks pretty good, man. They dominated all facets, so it was a good time.
Texas Tech still running like the air raid? Is it still like crazy innovative offenses, or did that all leave when Leach left?
Well, they do. They try to run like super fast tempo. Their head coach is probably the handsomest coach in America, Cliff Kingsbury. We all know Ryan.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, Ryan Gosling-esque. So, but yeah, man, they're struggling. They've hit a bit of a bump in the road. I don't know. They did not look great, and Iowa State looked really good. So who knows? I don't know what's going to happen with Tech. I love Cliff. I hope he gets to stay there for a while and they get turned around. But man, it was a rough one for him, no question.
Well, it's hiking season. It's obviously the height of college football season. It's also, just as importantly, it's friggin' pumpkin season.
Oh,
all right,
yeah, it is.
You guys know how I feel about people trying to foist pumpkin on you in the middle of August. You're going to a Labor Day cookout and people like the stores are filled with goddamn pumpkin beers. No, that in the kingdom of Thorntopia, that will not happen. But now it's 100% cool. And Dunkin' Donuts is on board with that. Dunkin's cold brew meets classic fall flavors with the new pumpkin cold brew. It's full-bodied, ultra-smooth cold brew coffee, now with the sweet taste of pumpkin. Dunkin's cold brew is steeped in cold water in small batches, so its exceptional flavor can fully develop. And now you can get it with a flavorful pumpkin-y twist to give you that all-day adrenaline rush. Try the latest way to love cold brew today with the unique taste of Dunkin's pumpkin cold brew. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Fellas, I want to get into game balls and participation trophies, but first, broad philosophical question here. Carson Palmer breaks his arm today. Done for 8 weeks. And when they say 8 weeks, I always tack on 50%. So he could possibly be done for the season. That's not Carson Palmer. That's just my general tone. Well, there was a piece on Pro Football Talk this week about the idea of further protecting quarterbacks more than they do by using the same rules that they do for punters, Pat, and for kickers.
I see a lot of punters get smashed on a regular basis and nothing happens. So this is an interesting little piece. I can't wait to hear it.
Well, there is, once he lets go of the ball, you can't touch him. Now, guys do, but it's an automatic penalty, obviously.
Oh, you're talking like post punt, not during punt. You're talking about like, what do they call it? Like defenseless.
So, hey, if that's the case, though, the punter should have to run to the sideline afterwards. He can't take part in the play if they're not going to touch him.
No, listen, I think the rule says if he's deciding to mix it up, which a lot of punters are, he is considered in the play. But if he is deciding to quit, which some punters do and make the entire brand look bad, he is considered defenseless. I think it's all about intent is the kind of thing. And I think with quarterbacks, after they throw picks, what are the two people you're taught to hit after an interception, AJ? Defense.
The quarterback and Jeff Triplett. That's actually more of a personal vendetta on my part. But yeah, the referee.
Roger, after he releases the ball on a legal hit. The idea being that you change once the ball's out of his hand, he no longer can be hit, or else it's a penalty to reduce that stuff. Now, there'll be pushback if they do it, just like there was pushback when they said no more touching the quarterback's helmet. You can't go at his knee or whatever. And then the league adjusts and everybody learns to deal with it. We move on and it reduces the risk to quarterbacks. And I mean, right now, this league is heading to a point, we're not halfway through the season yet, and it's going to be lousy with second and third string quarterbacks. So is that reasonable to say, all right, you can't hit a quarterback after the ball's left his hand?
I honestly believe that in the middle of your question, AJ Hawk saw a ghost. Did you see him freak out over there? What the fuck were you looking? He was talking like so serious about a very serious subject, and it appeared as if you saw a ghost. Did you see him just freak out? He looked straight up and then twice and then looked right at the camera and was like, what the fuck just happened? What happened over there?
Quarterback, or is bringing up A-Rod getting hit? Is that it? Is that still?
I was checking my surroundings. Pat was talking about this Army Ranger. They talk about situational awareness. I got worried. My smoke alarm was going off. My kids were awake in the house. We're all good. We're good.
Well, no, because then you're not good.
I didn't want, no, it did not. I'm good. My ventilation is
That's
is
what
good.
you get for the Jeff Triplett comment, though. You take a shot at Jeff Triplett out of fucking nowhere, that type of stuff's going to happen, AJ. You can't just do that for nothing. Your house is about to fucking burn down because you went after Jeff Triplett.
Like,
You're
don't
right.
be, hey, AJ, I know there's good in you. You're not
Yeah, you're right, man.
Jeff Triplett. I know that about you. Bring out the good.
Anyways,
Karma's real, man. Speaking of refs, what was the what game was it? Was it the guy doing the Packers game? What, I forget the ref who literally cannot. When he gets on the mic, he freezes up and he points the wrong way. Offense, defense. What's his name?
He's the representative of the game. Like when the ref speaks to the TV, like he's the representative of football at that exact time. And he has a solo shot in front of 13 million people on national TV as a representative of the game. And some of those motherfuckers can't talk. Some of them just can't talk. I mean, like, some of them should not be on TV. They should not be on camera. They're not showmen. And I understand that you might not want showmen in, like, officiating games, but you got to find these straight and narrow officials and then find the ones with some personality and put them with the hat on. Put the hat on them. They're the ones.
But no, you don't. That's the thing, though. However many officials there are, Pat, it doesn't even matter. Just find whoever, one of them should be deemed the speaking official. Even if you're not the white hat, whatever.
The relayer.
He knows what's going on. Yeah. He'd be like, hey, we're going to figure out who's the speaking guy, because some of them don't want to be that guy.
Yep.
And I understand that. They just want to do their job and throw the flags and whatever and control the game. There needs to be a speaking official on each crew, and they need to, like, audition them and put them on tape and make them practice, because it's true. You're right. They're representing the whole league in that situation. Even if I understand it would be tough. It would be really tough to be that ref and to be, everybody's looking at you. You got to get everything right. You have a lot going through your mind, but whatever it is, just own it. Just sell it hard. Even if you're wrong, just if you own it, I think people will be fine with it.
How about having some self-awareness after you look at the replay that's been challenged and it's obvious you were wrong, and coming out and being like, well, after review, we were completely wrong. You could have seen how we did this, but instead it's been over blah, blah, blah. Like, you're explaining to people the game. That's what you're doing. You are, now granted, you don't have to get into a 30-second soliloquy, but you're a representative here. Like, let's go. They should be held to a higher standard, because I think there's some really good refs, and I think there's some ones that are really bad. I've been thinking about signing up to be a goddamn ref, just for future reference. I'm not supposed to be one. It's like a cop on the field, and I am not supposed to be an officer of the law in any means. I respect them, but I'm not supposed to be that guy. But these refs, I'm telling you, the refs are a big deal to the game. They're more important than people could ever imagine. They fuck up. If they fuck up a whole game, they fuck up a lot of people's lives.
Pat, I want to see you just be the talking ref.
Exactly.
Like, it calls the rest of the time, you're just hanging out watching the game, and they go, all right, come out here and just explain this to everybody.
All right, so what I think happened was, listen, you heard a boo there, and you guys were right, but you didn't get a chance to see from this angle where, play the replay real quick on that Jumbotron up there. That's 400 yards big. All right, you see, bang, okay, that's what happened. First down, everybody. How does it feel to be wrong? That's what I thought. Maybe play like a villain. Maybe play like turn heel instead of being babyface the whole time. Who knows? Put on a little show out there.
Like, for instance, Gene Skeletor is doing Sunday Night Football. I think he's that guy you're talking about that doesn't want to do the announcements. Like, he strikes me as the kind of guy who takes like 5 minutes to change his voicemail. Like, oh my God, no, that's wrong. Oh no, I fucked that up. Oh, let me try again. And he gets up there and same thing. Like, his mic was cutting out and he's nervous and he's getting flops.
The mic is in him. I think we've found out from this show. Like, how would you feel if, because of the technology, like, because it happens to you a lot where we can't hear you because technology, like, you can't blame Gene because the fucking technology. Gene's like the best ref in the history of refs. Dude refs college basketball. I think he does, like, church league softball. He's calling people out for fucking, he does everything. He's ref of the year candidate year in, year out. I don't think we should be mocking him for the technology failure. That sounds like a Gillette Stadium thing. More like it, just for future reference.
He's a guy that would prefer a designated talker, and he just wants to make calls and throw metric shit tons of flags.
You think so? I don't know.
He's flag happy on Sunday night for sure. Like, that goes without saying. And I just feel like he's that guy who feels weird. He's getting flop sweat. He's like an open micer doing like his first show, even though he's been in the league. They've had mics for 2.5 decades, and I think he just would prefer to give the signals, pretend that thing doesn't work, and move on with his life. You guys have game balls? AJ, got anything?
Yeah, I do, Pat. I got one. What do you think?
I can't wait to hear it. I'm like
Okay.
at the edge of my goddamn seat right now.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to start out with my participation garbage that Jerry loves. So I have a couple different, a couple ribbons here, Jerry, I guess we would call them. So first just goes to the Browns-Titans games in general. 12-9, Titans win in overtime. I'm sure, Pat, this is probably Pat's trophy or whatever because what the kicker made an overtime kick to win the game. Great. You did your job. Congrats.
Wait, that's his 53rd kick in a row underneath 50 yards. It's an NFL record for a game winner in Cleveland, Stadium on the Lake in windy conditions. Yeah. I'm proud of
it. Suck up, right?
Yeah, unfortunate name for sure, but he's a great kicker.
No, I didn't mean to disrespect the kicking game at all because I feel like it is the worst position in all of sports that I would never want to have. Like people like me say, "Oh, great, he did his job." It's either that, like it's a lose-lose. If you miss it, everyone wants to kill you, and if you make it, they're like, "Well, yeah, that's all you're supposed to do. What do you do all day in practice?" So whatever. That's not part of my ribbon. That's not part of my ribbon. The Browns-Titans game in general, 12-9. Okay, is it a baseball game? A. And B, DeShone Kizer, they just need to make a decision. They pulled him in this game, put Cody Kessler in. Kizer, one of the plays that just had to drive Hugh Jackson crazy and myself watching football. He threw another pick in the red zone, like a high ball. And anyone knows any high ball for a quarterback is death. It's always death. He threw an easy pick going in, gave it to the Titans, whatever. You can't give up the points there. And on top of that, my very final part of my participation ribbon is the writers and producers of the, I don't even know what network it's for, or what, maybe Verizon, the, Odell Beckham, Josh Norman commercials. Not them, not Odell, not Josh. I'm not blaming them. Take your money. You're probably getting paid $2 million each. It's when Norman's standing at the podium and they have like the fake media saying, "Hey, what is this you're talking to Josh Norman or to Odell Beckham about?" Or maybe it's Des Bryant. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's a Samsung drawing emojis commercial. You don't like it.
Yeah. I'm all over the place. But no, the one line where they say, "Well, what about this, Des? Where you don't have anything to say about him?" And he says, "No, whatever. It's going to be a fair game." And then they say, "Well, you just posted where you said you are choking on my dust." And I was just thinking, like, is that ever something that any NFL player has ever said in the history of the world?
You're choking on my dust, cuz. Did you hear how I just delivered that? I would. I think I might have said that in my NFL life, by the way.
That's much better. That's much better if you delivered it like that. But the fact that they think Des Bryant would ever say that to a human, I'm offended by the stupidity that they think is out there. So the writers, the players, Des, Josh Norman, you guys, not on you at all, but the writers and the producers that thought that was all.
Hey, listen, writers, step your fucking game. Like, hey, writers, step your game up. So much, don't be doing such dumb shit. You're on TV. I'm not on TV for a reason, but like you're on TV.
Yeah, Pat, think about that. This is the age when people don't watch commercials, and that's what you're going to put out there to try to get people to watch?
Bro, that's what you're going to rally the troops behind, cuz? You're going to chase my dust?
Choke on my dust.
Are you like me? Every time he says it, I think that's going to end with the word dick. They just do that attention or whatever, but every time the word dust comes out of his mouth, I'm mildly and pleasantly surprised.
Holy
like,
shit. Did you
actually...
Hold on. Did you hear Julio Jones' interview on Football Night in America? He mentioned the 2 games he played growing up. Here, let me play it. I actually have it recorded. It's going to be like that, what you just said, where you thought they said something, and then thank God they didn't.
He's supposed to choke on his D.
Sneak out and play football and stuff. And I knew I was pretty good. I was making the older guys miss, and pretty tough just playing in the streets. We played throw them up, bust them up, smear the quitter, things like that.
Smear the quitter? Oh, okay.
He said smear the quitter. And the internet went upside down for like 3 minutes. Like, because I wasn't the only person who was watching that. I was watching that, and I was like, what the fuck did he just say? You can't say that in 2017. So I go directly to the internet to see if everybody else heard. I go on Twitter. I search in smear the. That's it. I didn't even type in the rest. And Twitter was like, NBC's going to get in some shit for letting that one out. NBC, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I rewind. Smear the quitter. I'm like, whoa, Jesus. Good for you, man. And that's a much better game. Like, that's a much better game anyway. So I'm happy.
Yeah, good on Julio for being progressive.
Yeah, changing the game. It's awesome.
Wow. That's crazy. All right, I'm going to go with my trophy quick. I like, you know what I enjoyed? I liked the Seahawks offense getting in a fight for a change. Normally it's the defense fighting with each other. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Doug Baldwin he pushed Tom Cable, who I believe is the O-line coach now, was the Raiders head coach for a minute. And I guess he's a really highly respected coach. People love him. But Carroll says after the game, Doug was standing up for Russell. He wanted Russell to be able to speak, but Cable was kind of butted in, and he kind of pushed Cable. Cable kind of forearmed him out, and then the players started. It wasn't like a big scuffle, but I was like, this is good. And they went on to win 24-7 over the Giants. I don't know if that says much, but I think like this is what they need, the Seahawks offense fighting for a change. So I love it. They said Cable and Baldwin made up instantly, and that happens. Like when you're playing a game, like I don't think when you have a good coach who respects the players and the player respects the coaches, that happens all the time where you can get in yelling arguments. You can get in arguments on the sidelines on what you saw compared to what he saw, and then literally 5 minutes later you're cool and you're joking about it, and that's what I see here.
Well, that's because in the NFL you're more like peers. You're more like peers than like everybody always talks about. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is like, yes, the head coach has power over people. Yes, the head coach decides things. But the positional coaches and shit like that, like everybody's in there trying to work for the same goal. Because you got NFL guys who've been around football 20 years. They're not dumb either. I mean, you got guys, Vinatieri's been in a fucking locker room for fucking 40 years of his life. So like a special teams coach, like yelling down to him and like talking, that very rarely happens in the NFL. So those skirmishes where there's like a disagreement happen a lot. And I do think you mentioned that. Like I didn't even think about that being something that's not really thought about. I bet you people are like, oh my God, that coach and that guy fighting is a big gigantic deal. It's not at all, especially because they won. It's just like a fucking throwaway situation for sure.
It's like a bonding moment. Like when two guys get in two really close buddies, at times you're gonna fight like brothers. You're gonna fight, and then 10 minutes later you're joking about it and you're laughing. You may fight again next week, but at least you know like you respect each other. It's not one-sided, and that's what I like about it.
Didn't Tom Cable punch one of his coaches in the face when he was the Oakland Raiders head coach? Wasn't that him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right in a meeting room, he just punched dude in the face. Right as the head coach.
Who?
Didn't Tom Cable do that? Isn't that what is he the coach for the Raiders that got fired for doing that? Somebody, there was a coach for the Raiders for a little bit that punched somebody in the face right in a meeting, and I think it might have been Tom Cable.
Puncher or the punchy? Because this was a big story. I'm blanking on it too now because of alcohol.
Yeah, he broke an assistant coach's jaw.
Yep, that was him. So Doug Baldwin's fucking lucky, cuz. Doug Baldwin is lucky that a notorious jaw breaker didn't respond in said fashion, bro. That is real. That is a real talk. Good for Tom Cable.
Consider the source. And I say this, I'm coming from a place of love when I say this because I'm a big Doug Baldwin guy. He's a little ball of anger. And I love that about him. Like, he's just always angry, no matter, and it's what drives him. It's why he's as good as he is. When they win the NFC Championship game, he's being interviewed 5 seconds later going, yeah, Deion Sanders says what, mediocre pedestrian? Like, he's furious all the time, and I love it. Like, Halloween, kids are going to come to his door, and he's going, you kids are adorable. I love those costumes. You're really charming. Just make Snickers bars as you want.
That's hilarious. I got a game ball.
Go ahead.
I got a game ball. Just the brand in general today. Kickers today won the day. Everybody wants to act like it didn't happen, but it happened. Kickers won the day today. The Browns-Titans game, evident right there. Okay, do the math. Kai Forbath in Minnesota hit 6 field goals for 18 points, beating the Ravens single-handedly by himself. Although he missed an extra point, it did not matter. Dude scored 18 fucking points today in a game that they won with 24 total points combined for the rest of the team. Cody Parkey, Hauschka, and Ryan Suckup pick game winners. I mean, it was just a day, and Adam Vinatieri didn't even step foot on the field, so he had a bye week. He had an extra bye week, so it was just a good day for kickers in general. That's my game.
Did it hurt at all that a safety was making kicks?
No, I fucking love that because the form, I put a video up. What was his name? Jeff Heath. I put a video up of his first kickoff. His form is fucking legit. He's worked that. He is like, you don't just kick something like that in a standard situation. You have worked on that in the past. I loved everything about it. He welcomed to the brand, cuz he came to the brand. The more you can do. And it's interesting, a lot of people ask why the punter didn't kick, and it's not I know it sounds like it should be something that happens because they're professional ball kickers, but not every punter can kick and not every kicker can punt. It's two very different swings. So that like a lot of punters can't kick. Not a lot, but there's a good amount of punters that can't kick. So I'm happy they got Heath. Also, Sean Lee, I played soccer with him growing up. I thought he could have stepped up, kicked some balls. He had a big leg back in the day. Old big leg Sean Lee. Middle linebacker now.
All right, you got a participation?
Well, it's got to be. The participation trophy is for the mood of the Indianapolis Colts complex this upcoming week. It's going to be so terrible, that complex. AJ, could you even fathom how terrible that complex is going to be a place of work next week?
It would be, and you know what the worst part is tonight for those players, because they know, oh man, when I wake up tomorrow, I got to go in there, and I can't. Like, what do you think in the first team meeting? What do you think old coach is going to say to him?
Listen, guys, we just got our absolute asses kicked, just completely demolished, destroyed. All the other D words that you can throw out. It was just a complete ass beating. We didn't do well on offense, defense. Adam Vinatieri didn't even get on the fucking field. This is a bad day for all of us. But we have to move forward because we're in the middle of a contract that says we must play 16 games every season. Let's try to get a little bit better and see what the fuck we can pull out next week. But let's get back to the grindstone. That's what he's going to say. And everybody's going to know, well, we could all be fired tomorrow. Who knows what's going to happen?
But that's great. That's the most calm head I've ever heard the day after getting blasted 27-0 to the Jags.
Well, I don't think there's any, they got to be past the point of like fiery, right? That press conference, I watched his press conference afterwards because somebody texted me and told me to watch it. Man, everything was, that's on me. He was just at the point where it was like defeat almost. It was just defeat. It was an interesting situation.
Is it to where he knows, like, all right, there's a very slim chance I'll be here next year?
I'm not sure. I have no idea. Because Chuck, he will always have eternal optimism, I think, because that's like his vision of what a head coach is supposed to be like at all times is like super optimistic. Everything's going to be okay. Let's keep going because he wants to be a super positive force. But I'm sure there's been conversations. There has to be, because around here, it's the only thing that's talked about. Literally, you go on Twitter during any game of the Colts, and the Colts and Jim Irsay are just getting flooded with mentions about how it has to happen. And Jim Irsay reads his Twitter. I mean, that's something he does do. We all know he is on the internet. So, I mean, it's just an interesting situation, though, because, God damn, it's a full turnover again. It's a full reload, and it's just not working out right now at all. 27-0 to the Jags at home. Yikes. Who hit the anvil? That's what I want to know. Who hit the anvil and didn't get the team jacked up? Is that tradition still going? Who knows?
If they did it today, that's a tradition that you cancel. When you're giving up 10 sacks, even if it's to Saxonville, and it's the second time this year that Jacksonville's done it, so there's no huge amount of shame in that. They've got, 33 already on the year, but I think when you're getting called out by T.Y. Hilton, then that's a
that's
shame.
not good, by the way. That's going to lead to an awkward situation. That's going to be a lot of awkward situations, right, AJ? Don't you think?
Yeah, I think that's bad for the receiver brand, no question.
Yeah, it's not going to look good. Like, that just doesn't look – it was the top storyline on Twitter for a couple minutes there.
Yeah. Jerry, explain exactly what happened with T.Y.
That he came out and blasted the offensive line and said it's all on them. While maybe true, how do you benefit from saying that? You know what I mean?
Dude, that's going to be so many awkward situations. Just like think about in the future, T.Y. has a bad game. T.Y. is an incredible wide receiver, by the way. Very underrated. Led the league in yards last year and does very well now. Now, granted, he gets a lot of yards. As a receiver, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get a lot of yards. But let's say he has a bad game in the future. It's just going to be so hard. They're going to come. Everybody's going to come down. Like the media, the whole world's going to come down in the defense of the offensive line. And I'm assuming the offensive linemen are going to take this harder than everybody. The 10 sacks, anyways. So they're just probably like, why is it getting out from inside our own locker room? But they're already pissed off. I'm just worried about what's going to happen to T.Y. in a couple weeks if he has a bad game. I think it's just going to be a fucking rain of hatred on him if something bad happens.
Oh, yeah, God forbid he gets trucked on an outside run or something. If he coughs up in the red zone, I mean, I don't see how that helps the process going forward as a teammate. But also, you're not telling us something we don't know. We just watched Jacoby Brissett under attack. Guys coming at him from all directions.
They almost pulled him. They almost pulled Jacoby to save him. Jacoby Brissett, who's in replacement of Luck right now, almost got pulled to protect him, who just got here 7 weeks ago because they were worried for his safety. That's insane to think about.
All right, game ball. I got to go back a few games and give it to Marshawn Lynch. Where do I begin? Running onto the field to protect a friend of his who's an opponent, and then pulling. Mets fans will get this reference of Bobby Valentine, who once got ejected from a game and returned back into the dugout wearing a fake mustache, sits up in the stands, and then takes the Bart home, and then leads everybody in a double Freedom Rockets, fuck the Chiefs chant. That's just awesomeness on too many levels.
In Marcus Peters' face, in a Chiefs player's, he went out to fight for Marcus Peters in the name of Oakland against Oakland Raiders, because Marcus Peters is from his neighborhood, right? Isn't that the thing? Like, him and Marcus Peters grew up together. So in Oakland, his town, he was running onto the field to defend an Oakland guy from the Oakland Raiders, and then he got ejected for it. Went into the he's the most outrageously awesome human in the history of the world. In the history of the world, it's just outrageous.
At some point between taking a shower and getting dressed and going up there, he invented about 27 new fucks not to give about anything. Not give fucks. I love him. And then Deion Sanders goes on afterwards and says, well, it's because they're in the inner city and you have to be from there to really know about friendships. Oh, I guess screw me, I mean, I grew up in the suburbs. What do I know about friendship?
Wait, really? Deion said that, really?
Yeah, absolutely. He defended him on, well, he's an emotional guy. And you don't have to defend it. You just have to say that's Marshawn Lynch. It's what we love about him. It's why he's a compelling guy. It's why the first show we did, the three of us talked about how great it is that he's back in the league. I want him to rip off 120 every week. He's not being productive, but he's being hilarious.
Well, the question is, now he got suspended one game. I can't wait to see where he pops up during his suspension.
Dude,
I'm guessing he's not just going to be sitting in the basement.
He is going to have a full block party to watch that game. Are you kidding me? Have you ever seen that? Somebody did a special with him where they went back to his neighborhood, and it was awesome. It was just absolutely awesome. They had a block party for him. Or he threw a block party for the block, and it was awesome. It was numerous hundreds of people just having an absolute blast. That's what he's going to do for this game. He's going to have a block party with a big old screen. I can't wait to watch Marshawn watch the Oakland Raiders. I can't wait to do it. He's the man.
All right, I got to give a participation ribbon to, you mentioned him a minute ago, AJ, Deshaun Kaiser, who Friday called a meeting of the offensive players and then went out to a club till 1:30 in the morning. There's video out there that was leaked of him boozing it up at 1:30 in the morning the day before a game, which is great if you go out and you light it up and you
what? I didn't know Deshaun Kaiser was getting down like that. I didn't hear that. Deshaun Kaiser is partying on a Friday night. I thought only punters did that. I used to get wild on Friday nights, but I didn't have shit to do. Deshaun Kaiser did that too? Good for man. If you're gonna ball though, I guess that's good for you. Did he ball out? He didn't do well.
No, he was terrible. He threw. See if you've stop me when you've heard this before. He threw a couple of picks.
Yikes! Bad for the brand, party brand. Bad for the party brand there.
Real quick, Pat, before we get into other stuff, I really try not to sound like I'm 1,000 years old and say back in the day they used to do a thing, with this one exception. They used to kick the ball to the corner. Punters used to try the coffin corner kick. I don't see it anymore. Yeah. Ryan Allen tonight, Patriots, Sunday Night Football, from about, I don't know, across midfield, booms one, it lands in the end zone on the fly. What happened to the idea of trying to hit the pylon, get it out of bounds? If it goes in, okay, your aim is off a little bit, it's 20 yards out. I don't get the logic between going right down the middle of the field and trying to hit a wedge shot instead of going for the corner.
Well, what has happened, you see, in football is what happened in every other position. Special teams has become a collection of the most freak athletes on earth. And the people who are rushing punts now are now guys that are 6'5", 280 pounds, and can run 4.5s and 4.6s, where back in the day, the people that used to rush punts were like Tony Saragusa and like dudes that are just on the first 3 downs defense, and they're just out there so a fake doesn't happen and a punt happens. Nowadays, punt block teams are weapons, and they've really changed the game. So whenever you want to do a coffin corner punt, you have to step out of your box. You have to step out of your like protected area. What's that? What would that be called? Like pocket. Bang.
Pocket.
You step out of your pocket where it's potential to get blocked. Because a blocked punt, all you need is one guy to do this, stick his hand up, it accidentally hit it, and that wins a game. Percentages of teams that win games that block punts are up near 85% or something like that. It's like outrageous. So that happened. And then also the Australian kick, where you just hold it straight up and down, and you can kick it as hard as you want, and it will only go a set distance, right? So therefore, you don't have to change your swing at all. You just got to change your club. So you're just, instead of having a 7-iron, you're busting it down to a lob wedge. So then you could just swing as hard as you want. It'll go a set distance, and then bang, it'll get you a favorable bounce. So it's not going to go far. There's no chance of over kicking it, hopefully, and it's going to get a fair catch every single time. Let's get out of here, or a gunner will stop it. Now, granted, does it work 100% of the time? No, but I would say the percentages of field position being better after a punt nowadays with that technique is much better than the ones it used to be with the coffin corner shit.
See, I ask an intelligent question, I get an intelligent answer. Can I get that for the rest of NFL podcasts, goddammit?
That was pretty deep explanation, but I feel like I had to really do it justice because I get asked this about 75 times every single Sunday. So I'm happy I get a chance to say that. That's been cooking on me. That question stroked me right where my penis was right there. I've been waiting on that one for a little bit.
When we first met, I think I told you, I am going to stroke you right where your penis is.
I like that, Jerry. You have that look about you, too, like the Catholic up there from Boston, that look. I like that. Hey, I got to take a piss. Can I piss all this penis talk?
Yeah, you go right ahead, because I've got something to tell the listeners about. AJ, I'll tell you, in my life, full confession, I've never had a massage. Now, I know you got them probably on the regular because you needed them. You had trainers on the team who did this to get you healthy. Never had one. Always wanted one. Have you ever done one that wasn't from the team? Like just gone to a spa or whatever?
I've never had a massage from a team. That's the thing. I think some teams are different where they have people set up. There's trainers, but I never really like to be in the training room. But they didn't like give massage. They don't give like legit massages like from the team really. Usually guys go outside their the teams, or you bring, I don't know, or the team might set them up through somebody, but not like in the facility now.
Okay, I just figured that's a normal thing that all trainers do or whatever. I've never done one, but had one the other day at my own home. Yes, courtesy of Soothe, SOTHE. This is an app. It's a website. You download it and you can order it. They will come to wherever you are. They will come to your home. They'll come to your office. If you're on the road, they'll come to the hotel. I mean, I think the stumbling block for me was always I didn't want to go to some place. I just wasn't going to drop everything and then go and make an appointment and wait or whatever. You don't have to do that anymore. Colleen, this woman, was fantastic. She shows up with everything. She's got the table. She's got the lotions that she rubs in. She brings it in music or whatever. Sheets, the whole deal. Just did it in my den. And I have issues because I sit at a computer all day long. She helped work that stuff out. She gave me tips. She gave me pointers moving forward on how to, keep your back from getting, looking like friggin' Quasimodo. I mean, you got out of the Barstool office, and seriously, we all look like Igor from friggin' Young Frankenstein. So this was great. It was the first time I did it. It will not be the last. Soothe is an on-demand massage service that delivers a hand-selected, licensed, and experienced massage therapist to you in the comfort of your house, hotel, or office in as little as an hour. You choose the kind of massage you want, from Swedish and sport to deep tissue and more. You can even opt for a couples massage. You set the length of it. You also get to pick the gender of your therapist. And if you're a therapist and she used to have her own business, but she prefers to do this, you can earn up to 3.5 times as much as you'd make at a spa while maintaining an incredible flexible schedule. That means you can even book a massage for 10 p.m. on a Wednesday. This also brings the best therapists to the Soothe network. You can book via the iPhone or Android app or on the web. Soothe is in 50 cities, including most major U.S. cities in London, Sydney, Melbourne, Toronto, and Vancouver. Book a massage as soon as today. Our listeners are getting a special offer that will get you $20 off on your first massage when you use our code LACES. Download Soothe, again, that's SOOTHE, on the iOS App Store or Google Play Store, and be sure to use the code LACES to get $20 off your first massage. Soothe, spa quality massage, anytime, anywhere. AJ, got to ask you, I golfed over the weekend at the 19th hole with a buddy of mine, and the games hadn't started yet. And the first thing he says is, "Are the Packers screwed? The chance of being good?" And I said, I kind of like Brett Hundley. I mean, he was good at UCLA, never won fewer than 9 games. His first play in college, he ran off a 72-yard touchdown. I'm like, this guy, I think he can ball, but he didn't look good today.
It was weird. His numbers weren't like he threw for 87 yards and a pick, but he ran for a touchdown. But he didn't look as bad as his numbers looked, I think. They had some success running the ball for sure. They rushed for 130 with Jones, the young guy, stepping in, playing well, especially with their O-line was finally healthy for once. But it was weird. I don't think they're screwed, no, because now they have a bye week, and Huntley, it's just going to take some time for him to feel comfortable. But remember when I said on here, when the Packers came back and beat the Cowboys, we're like, all right, no matter what happens, it feels like if the Cowboys are winning or struggling, and the Packers are struggling, it's just a matter of time before Aaron becomes Aaron and they win the game. I almost felt like the opposite today watching the Packers Saints. The Packers jumped out to an early lead. They picked off Drew Brees twice. Their defense actually played really, really well. But it felt like it's just a matter of time probably before they just can't hang on any longer. And that's basically what happened. The Saints end up winning 26-17. And I don't know. We'll see. The good thing that for the Packers, honestly, is the NFC North is kind of a disaster right now. The Vikings defense is amazing. Their quarterbacks are hurt. We don't know if Teddy Bridgewater's coming back eventually. Who knows with old Sammy, how they're going to do or when he's going to be back. It's just the Lions, we'll see. They were on a bye. It's just and the Bears, what are the Bears? I don't know. They're starting a rookie QB. So the North, that's why they definitely have hope, because
rookie QB. Have some respect. Undefeated rookie QB.
Is it Mitch or Mitchell? Which one's he going by now?
It's Mitchell. He's an adult.
Gotcha. Okay, Mitchell. All right, cool. It's like when does Richard go to Dick? That's always my question. When does he transition to Dick?
I had a grandpa Dick.
Yeah, I have an Uncle Dick. He's awesome. But I never asked. I want to ask, hey, when did you transition? All of a sudden one day, hey, I'm Dick.
I think you're a dick for the long haul. I think you want to be Dick when you're young, right? Dick is like a 15 to 40 time, isn't it? Or is Dick a forever thing?
Did you have a freshman in high school friend that his name was legit name? He went by Dick.
Maybe Dickie. I know a Dickie.
Okay, Dickie. But at some point if you know an adult Dick, he had to start introducing himself as Dick. That had to be a weird couple
months. With a straight face too.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not joking, but my name's Dick.
Yeah, I think in the case of your grandfather's generation, it's more like, at what point in his life did Dick stop just being a common name and started to be a body part?
Oh, what if that happens to Pat? I'm gonna be worried about that. What if Pat becomes a name for the penis. Like, that's not good. Like, you think that's what happened to all the dicks? Like, they were dick, and then some whippersnapper came up and was like, "Hi, I call my penis my dick," and then that just caught on, and all of a sudden their name got ruined. Is that what you think happened?
I gotta think back in, like, I don't know, Lincoln's day. You didn't call it a dick. Maybe they did. I don't know. No one wrote that stuff down. In the Declaration of Independence, and by the way, George's.
It's crazy. It's crazy that Abraham Lincoln liked live shows. He shouldn't have liked them. He should have just. It's crazy he liked live shows.
Unhealthy. It had to have been. Look, I was 10 years old. All right, to back up a little bit, I'm named after my grandfather Jeremiah, but they named me. But they call it an audible at the last minute and went with Gerard. But had I been called Jeremiah, which is a pretty kick-ass name, at one point, that song "Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog" would have come out and ruined my life.
Yeah, because in my head, when you said Jeremiah, my first thought was Amish, and then my second thought was he was a bullfrog.
So imagine like elementary school, and that song comes out, and everyone's just like, "Shut up, Froggy! You're a frog. Shut up, bullfrog. You look like a bullfrog. You talk like a bullfrog." Like, it would have been over. I would have just probably gone off in the woods and
we need you to be mentally tougher if being told you look like a frog is going to send you to the woods. What the fuck's going on? We need you to toughen up, Jerry. You look like a bullfrog and you're off in the goddamn woods?
I think I would have not been able to handle it. I think I would have gone on a killing spree. No.
Hey, Jay.
But I was spared that. I'm just saying, like the Mets used to have a guy named Ronald McDonald. And a reporter said, like, your parents do that to you? He goes, "I was friggin' 15 years old when that clown was invented. Like, it's just a name."
Jerry, is your name Gerard? Did I hear that right?
Well, you sound shocked.
Well, you said this is all confusing. You lost me earlier, but you said, I've been stuck on this. You said, "I'm named after my grandfather, Jeremiah." At the last second, they made an audible and went with Gerard. So, no, you're not named after your grandfather. And B, Gerard with a J?
No, it's with a G.
But you go by Jerry with a J.
Oh, there's no interesting story there. Everyone in my family's their names began with a J. So in first grade, I just started saying, "Screw it, I'll do it with a J."
What does your birth certificate say? I'm not going to ask the year.
It's Gerard.
With a G.
That's the common spelling of it. And
that's what I'm saying. But so you're not named after your grandfather.
I call myself like AJ. I mean, it's just.
Is Jeremiah start with a G?
It's a J.
So they went way off the track. Then they could have went with Jeremy. They decided to go way off Jeremiah to a whole nother letter with a G.
Yeah, and thank God they did.
So this has nothing honoring him in any sense.
Yeah, it does, because they were going to name me after him, and then just my mom liked the sound of that better. And again, the point isn't my parents' thought process on giving me a very common name, and there is a Saint Gerard or whatever. It's the point being that sometimes you have a name that can ruin your life and having nothing to do with you.
Yeah. So my name, I go by AJ. My full name is Aaron James, but they call me AJ from the jump, from birth. And I'm named after my grandpa. His name is Alfred, right? If you're in your logic, this is how it works, right?
Oh, by that same token, I have a friend whose husband's name is Bobby Jr. They call him BJ. Try growing up with that name, like BJ. Like, how do you even?
It's like Johnny Cash, a boy named Sue, made him who he is.
Man, if you could watch these shows, AJ is legitimately befuddled right now about how his parents went from Jeremiah to Gerard. Even went so far to give an Aaron and what? An Alan?
My grandpa, Alfred.
You're outrageous.
R.I.P. Alfred.
I was named after my grandma. Grandma Patricia.
What's her name? Kelly?
Yeah.
Not in Jerry's thinking, in real life thinking. My grandma's name was Patricia. I never met her, so my name was going to be Patricia or Patrick. If
Exactly. See, that makes sense, Jerry. That's how it works.
I was called Patricia there for a few years, though. It was
AJ, I said there's some good in you. Apparently, there's not because you're ripping on my parents for giving me a.
No, not at all. I'm not. I'm ripping on you specifically, Jerry, because you tried to rope-a-dope us. And, well, I'm named after my grandfather, Jeremiah. Well, my name's Gerard with a G.
Look, Irene and Bud looked at their baby boy, the youngest of 5, and said, "Let's name him Jerry after our beloved grandfather Jeremiah." Okay, they changed the birth certificate name. There's no harm in that.
They could have just made a little side note like, "Hey, I love my dad. His name is Gerard. It has nothing to do with Jeremiah."
Well, thank God
I'm sorry. I love your parents. Your parents are great people, but
can we get back to
your
this?
logic.
The Saints were my lock of the week, by the way. That's what started all of this. The Saints were my lock of the week over the Packers.
What was the line?
Well, originally it was 4.5, and then it moved to 3.5, and I got it at 3.5. And it was so easy to tell that Brett hadn't been getting any fucking snaps behind Aaron. Aaron takes all those snaps, I assume. So Brett just getting thrown in there after 1 week of training against what seemed to be the dark horse of the NFL right now, the New Orleans Saints. That was just an easy game to predict, I thought. Now, the bye week is going to help out for Green Bay immensely because, I mean, the defense is going to play. Brett Hundley will pick it up. I think they're going to be okay. I think the Packers are going to be okay, actually.
With Hundley, I think they fell behind and late, and he started forcing bad throws. I think if he just learns the discipline to not throw picks, reduces picks, I think he can be something. His running game is sick.
I assume he doesn't know that many plays. I assume he doesn't know that many plays, right? AJ, how many plays do you think that guy knows? All of them? I guess because he's been in training camp, but it's all the
Is he in his second or third year? Either way, no, I bet he knows him. No, he doesn't get much. I bet he doesn't get a whole lot of time with the ones, but they take reps every practice. The backup would always come in and at least get a couple reps. And he knows most of the defense, but it's a different world to actually know it on the field in live action. That's when you really you just experience. You have to have that experience.
See what he can do running the ball because that one that he ran around end is a guy on New Orleans. I should know his first name. I don't, but it's Crawley, who wanted no part of that. Like met him at the goal line and just went at him with a shoulder, a glancing blow, and just got out of the way.
Let me tell you my theory here, Jerry. I respect your theory and I disagree. I think I saw Russillo actually tweet this. He thought that was he said that's a direct example of how scared people are to tackle quarterbacks on the sidelines because Hundley did a great job cutting back. He looked like he was just going to cruise out of bounds. So I think the defender was running like, okay, I can't take a huge shot at him. I'll get a penalty. Boom, foot in the ground, cut back, and it looked like he just threw his left shoulder at him because he was surprised that Hundley didn't run right out of bounds.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, I can respect him the second you don't want to, if you think he's stepping out, you don't want to draw that. But at the same time, you draw it, it's half the distance of the goal.
Well, yeah, you're not thinking that when you're running 40 yards across the field trying to tackle a quarterback.
I would like everybody to know that the wounded animal technique is something that I did plan on using if I was ever in the open field near the sideline running with the ball. Act like I caught a cramp going out of bounds. They let up. Wham! Hit a second gear, Pat, the only gear I know, faster, and I'm off and running. It's week 8, and your fantasy football season is in full swing. Which begs the question, how is your fantasy football team doing? Maybe you drafted a dud in the 4th round or your first-round pick is on the shelf with a bum knee. That's no fun. Or a shoulder, maybe. Who knows? The good news is it's not too late to forget the injuries and get back in the winning column with DraftKings 1 week fantasy football. With DraftKings, there are many ways to play, AJ. Many ways, AJ. AJ, there's many ways to play, AJ.
Tell me, how many, though, Pat?
Well, maybe... go down to the bay. What do you say? Many ways to play, AJ. Choose between public contests with big cash prizes or private contests where you can compete against a group of your asshole friends. DraftKings also have beginner and casual contests where you'll play against people of similar skill levels. The best part is you get to draft a brand new team each week with zero commitment. What do I hate, everybody?
Commitment?
Well, I hate snakes. I'm not a big snakes fan. Not a big eggplant. By the way, I don't like eggplant. Love the emoji. Don't like the way it actually tastes, though. I don't like pineapple. A lot of people like pineapple. I don't like pineapple. I don't even know how people like pineapple. I have no clue how they do. And I also don't like commitment. There's no better way to turn your love of football into cash this Sunday and draft a brand new team each week. So get to DraftKings.com now and use promo code HIKE to play free with your first deposit of your share of over one. Oh, wait. Let's go back and make sure this is understood. Get to DraftKings.com now and use promo code HIKE, and you could play free with your first deposit to win your share of over $1 million in total prizes this Sunday. That's promo code HIKE to play free with your first deposit to win your share of over $1 million. DraftKings, the game inside the game. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. It's $5 to enter to possibly win millions and millions of dollars. Why wouldn't you try? DraftKings, the game inside the game.
All right. I understand the snakes thing. I've got a good, manly, Indiana Jones-like hatred of snakes. Like, not screaming hysterical, but, totally macho. Eggplant, I could live without it. Anybody that doesn't like pineapple is, objectively speaking, not my opinion, fact, the worst person in the world. Like, how can you not like pineapple?
It gets in my mouth and my whole body wants to just stop working. It's like my body wants to commit suicide. Not me. My body hates it. Everything about me hates pineapple. I agree. I know people love it. They're like diehard into it. Boy, I hate it. And I know it does something to your semen or something like that. So if I ever get into drinking my semen, it might be terrible, I understand. But I just don't like pineapple at all, bro. I just don't like it.
Hey, I'm with you, Jerry. You're looking at two horrible humans then, because pineapple's gross, man. It's garbage in it, so no pineapple for me.
In all forms, like not pineapple juice, not like a cocktail. Pineapple.
Even worse.
Even worse than pineapple somehow, maybe even on the same vein, grapefruit. The fact that people eat that with a straight face, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm with you. There is nothing redeeming about grapefruit. And grapefruit juice is actually worse than grapefruit itself, if that's possible.
And some stand-up comedian, I forget who it was, went on a gigantic rant, and it was epically brilliant when he said, they tried to make it good. They slap a great-tasting fruit on there, grape. Like, here we go. We'll fucking get all these people to try it. And then whammy, they eat just shit. It's just shit. It's just terrible shit. It's just bad shit. I don't like it.
Gaffigan? I think that's a Gaffigan bit.
It might be. Love. It seems like it sounds like a Gaffigan bit.
Yeah, Gaffigan, a lot of his stuff revolves around food, so for sure.
His ketchup bit, really incredible. Hot Pocket, another good one. I'm a big Jim Gaffigan fan. He opened for the fucking Pope. That's a Twitter bio, if I've ever seen one.
You can do a 15-minute bit about shellfish. Like it's the gist of it is, what more does God have to do to prove that you should be eating this stuff? He puts it at the bottom of the ocean. It's a rock filled with snot. You have to dig it out of the seabed in order to get it. Like, it should not be eaten. But Carolla does a great bit about passion fruit too. Like, when did you ever hear about passion fruit? 6-7 years ago, and now you can't escape it. It comes in all forms. Like, whoever marketed passion fruit is the greatest, advertising genius in the world.
This is good. Let's continue. Let's explore all different kinds of foods and fruits that we can go into. What do you think, Pat? What do you got?
Banana is definitely. It has to be one.
I'm joking. I am 100% joking. I'm going to turn this off, Pat.
Okay. Well, the Chiquita Bananas actually have a monopoly on the business. They shut down a banana company that I've actually met. So I just want to let that be known.
Is that another fruit? I don't know. Is that another food that your dad told you to freeze and keister stash for the hemorrhoid?
Listen, my dad doubled down on that one, by the way. He said, if you don't want the hot dog, he said, just take an ice cube then, a smaller ice cube. Just do it to get it over with, Pat. Just get it up in there. And by the way, AJ, the fact that you've never had a hemorrhoid makes me believe that you don't live. I want to let you know that. I don't think you've ever lived.
No, I told you last time. I'm not even going to go into it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me why people think hemorrhoids are a normal thing that people just get.
AJ, we live in America. We eat good food. We shit good shits, AJ.
Then
That's
you
what
should not get a
Americans
hemorrhoid.
do.
Yeah, that means you should not get a hemorrhoid taking a dump.
I don't need your analysis of my shits. All right.
I'm sorry. I feel like I've gone negative for most of this podcast, but I'm sorry.
Gerard. I mean, how do you go after Gerard Butler, huh? How do you go after him?
That's what I'm saying. Guess what Gerard Butler goes by? Gerard. His grandpa's name was probably Gerard.
It was an angry, bitter AJ Hawk that took to Skype that day. And maybe if you, Pat, if you had more pineapple, you wouldn't have a hemorrhoid problem.
Jerry, I need to make sure I get your number. Honestly, I think during your read or whatever, a couple minutes ago, I was scrolling my phone trying to send you a text to say something about how great your parents are. Nothing against your parents. So here's my verbal text to you. Your parents are great people.
Speaking of,
Right about it.
are we doing verbal text messages right now? Can you text Aaron Rodgers again? Can you tell him I said hello?
No.
Back from.
No.
It's unbelievable. I had a big moment last week.
How'd you? Hey! Honestly, after we recorded last episode, Pat, how'd you sleep? You were so up and down. It was a roller coaster of emotions for you.
I slept really well actually because I was so tired. I was so tired, from riding the tidal wave is what I wanted to say. I was so tired from riding the tidal wave. I was so tired from riding the tidal wave of life, knowing that Aaron Rodgers was my best friend now. I really, once the wave crashed, I had nowhere else to go but down to the sand and beach to pass out. And that's what I did. I slept real hard and well, and I had great dreams about how Aaron Rodgers and I were best friends. And then we haven't really contacted each other since, so it's been an interesting run.
Maybe he's just doing, you wait a while, like you give it 30 days before you text back.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to be the one to reach out, I think I have to go through somebody to do that. So I don't think I'm going to send him ever a direct text message for numerous reasons, because I don't want to sound like desperate or I don't have his number. But I'm not going to send him a direct text. I'll just text through AJ Hawk.
AJ, text him to find out if he thinks it's weird that my parents named me
He
a
does.
relative.
He does, by the way. He does think it's weird.
I bet he thinks it's off.
I'm not going to go back into it, but your parents did not name you after your grandpa.
It was the origin of it. It was the genesis of it. It's rooted in that.
Yeah, so it's like I tell my wife, like every once in a while, you'll send her, you know what edible arrangements are?
Yeah.
So this isn't an ad read or anything, but I'll get her edible arrangements, and every once in a while I'll be like, man, I'm gonna send her an edible arrangement, and then I'll forget, and I'll tell her like later that night, like, hey, I was gonna send you an edible arrangement, but then I forgot, and I tell her, but it's the thought that counts, and she's like, no, it doesn't work that way.
You want credit for that. Like
Yeah.
the thought crossed my mind to do it. Like, honey, I thought about buying you a luxury yacht. I didn't, but I was really thinking about being generous with respect to my disposable income with respect to boats.
I
Yeah,
do
pretty
believe
much.
that the thought counts, by the way. I'm on your
It
side.
does. It really does. Like I took 4 minutes to actually like type in the website, and then they said like, hey, enter your credit card info, and it wasn't stored there. So I was like, all right, well, no, I'm not going to enter my credit card info.
Wow, then you shouldn't have said that much, because that thought that you just had wasn't good. That thought right there where entering a 16-digit code wasn't enough. You couldn't do it for your lady, for your wife. Couldn't do it. Just that's what got me. If I didn't have to enter 16 numbers randomly placed out there with a security code on the back that is already washed off my card, so I don't know what it is anymore. If I didn't have to do that, I would have done it, babe. So I love you. You almost,
right.
you
Pat,
almost had
think-
fruits.
It's true though, Pat. You know what you don't have to enter a bunch in?
What's
My
that?
bookie.
What?
Yeah, super short promo codes. If you're watching the games, it's time to start making some money, Pat. I know you struggle with that. With the games, your first year into gambling, you're always playing the field, figuring things out. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you're like Floyd Mayweather. You're gonna start posting pictures with bags of cash. We'll see. I want you to post those losing tickets as well, which Floyd does not post those ones on Twitter. But my bookie, Pat, is the industry-leading website that hooks you up for all your betting needs. And with their great odds, fast payouts, and decades of expertise, you can bet with confidence. Your team doesn't even have to win. They just need to cover the spread. What are you waiting for? Lay down some cash and win big today. Or if you know your team sucks, I love this part, do yourself a favor and bet against them, which if you're a true gambler, you will do that. And if they lose, you'll make money. And if they win, you'll still be happy. Hey, my team won. I lost a little money. We're all winners here. But where you bet is just as important as who you're betting on. That's why I'm urging you to make your way to my bookie. I trust them, but you don't have to take my word for it. Check them out yourself. I've been sitting on the sidelines all season and haven't manned up yet. Now it's the time. And not me, I didn't, but if you've been sitting on the sidelines, cut that one out, Phipps, even though you're not there. It's time to get in on the action because due to popular demand, my bookie's 100% bonus will be available for only one more week. That's right. After Sunday, you can kiss it goodbye. So get it before it's too late. They have in-game live betting and a mobile site that makes wagering on the go easier than ever. Hence, me trying to enter my credit card info. It's much easier on the go. Bam, get on there. I'll do it. You can also check out their online casino if you'd rather just play a few hands of blackjack or roll the dice and craps. Join now, and MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 100% bonus.
What?
For the last time this year, because we're running out. It's crazy how deep we are into the NFL season. I think it's gone so quickly.
Balls deep.
Yes. Guess what? This is the best part. You use promo code LACES to activate your offer. No, there's no 16 letter passcode. Use promo code LACES to activate. Visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, and you get paid, Pat.
Yeah, I love that place, man. I absolutely love it. 100% match is outrageous. That's good. I'm happy.
I wonder, like,
on board.
What if I put $1 million in? How much do they give me?
I don't know. I'm speaking out of turn, but I saw them tweet to somebody that yes, they would match $1 billion when the guy said, so if I put $1 billion on there, will it be? And I think they said, yes, we will match up to $1 billion if you put up there.
Okay, cool.
I don't think you can cash out though. It's an interesting situation. I don't know the rules. I'm not speaking for them, but I'm happy they came along. They're a good group of people.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate you. And Pat, you were taking a leak, but Jerry got his first massage from Soothe. You know that?
Dude, I love that website. How did yours go, Jerry? Did you probably already talked about it? So this is not good podcasting, but you loved it. I loved that Soothe.com thing.
A deep dive, but she was great, filled with like tips, and this is an exercise you do because I spend all day hunched over a laptop, and it's the worst thing for you, but it's how I got to make a living. So,
it's basically the Uber of massage. That's what's great about it, honestly.
It was fucking perfect. You just schedule it midday out of nowhere, no pre-planning. Like most of those massage places, you need to plan in advance. Like I don't know how I'm gonna fucking feel. It's affordable too. I think that's outrageous. I learned how much I was overpaying for a massage is what I learned from Soothe.com. That's what I learned is how much I was overpaying. It's like very affordable. I'm going to recommend, I might start giving those out as gifts to people. Just like, hey, what are you doing? All right, like in 20 minutes, why don't you just lay it down for an hour, just for a minute real quick from me.
Yeah.
It's like a good gift.
Pat, you could give it as a gift, or you could say, I thought about giving it as a gift. And then
but I don't have to get online and pick the gender of the therapist.
And ladies out there, AJ says you can just promise your husband you thought about getting the sex of the millennium, but and he still has to appreciate it every bit as much.
Yeah, I would be flattered that it crossed her mind. Jerry, I bet speaking of that, I bet you're super juiced. Your boys, Patriots 23-7 beat the Falcons, man.
Oh, it happened.
I absolutely am, because this is around the time where this defense tends to come around when it does. There's been years in the past where it was a mess in September, and I don't know why that is. Belichick was like threw a ton of shade at a reporter who asked about it the other day, and he was like, well, I mean, you can't expect us to do what we were doing 5 months ago. We've got practices, we had triple-digit practices by the time we got to the Super Bowl, whatever. Okay, but every team has to practice. Like every team is starting over every year, so I don't get it.
It was Jerry, I'm sorry to cut you off. That Belichick, I thought it was a great answer though. Like he went in and gave you specifics of why. Hey, no, we're going to be much better in December than we are in September because of all of everything we've seen on film, all the stuff we've implemented, and we're going to execute it in a game when you can't just expect us to show up day one in September. Like that's because they're a great team and they get better as the season goes. They don't come out the gate and think they've won the Super Bowl if they're 3-0. Like they don't care about that. They care about winning when it matters.
Trust the process, Jerry. Trust the process, Jerry. They have reasons for why they're doing certain things in certain situations. their team is going to be much better in December and January than they are now. That's just the goal of this whole thing. Put our best football forward in December. That's what our whole goal is.
Sure. I wrote this on the blog the other day. My hope is that their system, what they do, is more complicated than some of the ones that take less time. Is that just BS?
I think that might be right. They seem to win all the fucking time. I don't know. Their process is right.
And think about the people they've been rolling in. Like, they have so many guys that they've had to put in that due to injuries and different people that have signed and been starting the next week. That's a big deal. Getting guys to play together and realize, like, okay, this is how you can install it one way in practice, but then teams are gonna try to, offense are gonna throw things at you. Like, okay, so if they run that, if it's 3-by-1, I got to make sure I cheat over the tight end. Like, depending on who you're playing, there's all those little things like that you're gonna pick up only through game action.
There's a old timey football writer here he's a total anti-Patriots jihadist, and his thing is always, they think it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmies and Joes. Well, again, this is a team that's proven that they can.
Wait a minute. I want to know how a Patriots jihadist even survives after what the Patriots have been doing in the last decade. Like, what the fuck does that guy do? How does he have a job? Like, what do you do? Like, how many Super Bowl celebration parties can you watch and just be like, yep, they don't know what the fuck they're doing? Like, how can you still not call yourself a troll at night when you lay down if you're really repping that in that city? I don't know how you do that. You have to know you're a big ass troll at the end of the day. You have to.
He's not alone. There's a few of them that are operating off the old model, the pre-internet model where, there was a half a dozen columnists and they set the tone for the town, and the beat writers were smarter than Pete Carroll or whatever. And yeah, the script has been completely flipped on them, but they refuse to acknowledge this team will let go of Chandler Jones or a Jamie Collins and replace them with a Landon Roberts and, a Cassius Marsh.
Rob Nimkovich. Nobody talks about him. That guy was just a staple steadfast of their success. Nobody talks about it, but it's real. Like, he is a big-time loss for them. I think he accounted for a lot more of their troubles than they could have imagined after him leaving, I think. I honestly believe that.
Yeah, I thought he had one more year in him because he was like 33, which for a defensive end is not young, but that was a surprise when he didn't show up to camp. And, they are slowly replacing him with guys like I mentioned, like Cassius Marsh.
He's just like one of the best role players in history, I think. He was like a superstar role player.
Pat, I don't know if you saw it, but who Jerry just mentioned, Cassius Marsh blocked a field goal tonight that got Belichick juiced, fist pumped, and everything.
Respect. You like that a lot whenever that happens. I didn't see it, but anytime a field goal gets blocked, it feels good because you try for it. Every single one is so fucking close. So they go through slow motion videos of how, like, half a hand away a guy is from a field goal because everything's happening so quick. 1.3 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. Everything's so quick, and guys are so close. And when it finally happens, like, that's a big payoff moment for a lot of people. Like, fuck yeah, it finally happened. We knew it could happen. We do it, gang. That's awesome.
And big shout out to Sunday Night Football for showing a close-up of the Barstool flag, the 28-3 flag. It's all about the product placement.
For the brand. They did that?
Absolutely. You can see the logo and the whole bit. Oh, those
NBC,
some guys stepped in.
ESPN. Now we're talking.
Yeah, a couple guys definitely got fired for that one.
Or maybe they got promoted. Who knows? Maybe they're looking to team up with the pirate ship of the internet.
Ah, okay.
Huh?
Yeah. Maybe, Pat. Yeah, I don't know. You're onto something.
The place was lousy with 28-3 themed shirts, and the Barstool account tweeted out these two guys wearing Atlanta jerseys that just said Super Bowl LI on the back, and the numbers were 28-3. Like, are you Falcon fans who are just self-aware, or are you like extremely clever trolling Patriots fans who don't mind spending $100 on a game?
That'd be B there. We're gonna get on Barstool Sports if we wear this to a Patriots game. That's what that is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. So good for them. So they're very clever human beings with hilarious jerseys that they will wear on Halloweens in the future. Every once in a while they'll bring it out. Maybe they'll get a new group of friends, a new job, and they'll bust that out. It'll be the talk of a party numerous times in the future of their lives.
All right, let's before we wrap this up, let's go through some lightning round stuff here. Just go around the league stuff we didn't mention. You mentioned Mitchell Trubisky. We're going by Mitchell, right? Not Mitch. We're going Mitchell on the show.
He's an adult.
I want us to have one name for everybody. Wins a game with, you know how many passes he threw?
12.
7.
That's awesome. And they're winning. Oh, Buddy had 2 defensive touchdowns. Who was of 75 yards or plus? That's who I was going to give my game ball to, and then I realized how awesome all the kickers were doing. His name was Jackson, I think. He was a DB for them, number 39. 2 tutters of 75-plus yards. He's having a monster night in Chicago tonight. I don't think anybody understands how big of a party that guy is. 2 touchdowns of 75-plus yards for a defensive guy? Are you kidding me? That entire DB room is upside down tonight. Winning games with your quarterback attempting 7 passes? You got to be fucking kidding me.
Completed 4. The last guy to do that was, take a guess. Last guy to win a game completing so few passes.
Blake Bortles.
No, this will make total sense when you get it. He's not in the league currently.
Trent Dilfer.
Tim Tebow.
Thanks. It does make a lot
sense.
of sense.
Eddie Jackson was the first guy to return a touchdown, a fumble for a touchdown, an interception for a touchdown since Antonio Cromartie, but both of them north of 70 yards.
A lot of kids.
Dallas, San Francisco, to their credit, mixed it up because they've lost their last 5 games by 3 points or less, and this one they showed they're versatile enough to also get blown out of the friggin' building. It's going to be screwed without Ezekiel Elliott, though. I just feel that suspension's coming at some point, and he's just so friggin' good.
But is it coming next year though?
God, who knows? It's Deflategate all over again. You know, you just have this thing where you're ready for it, and then they kick the can down the road, and you don't know if they're going to drop the suspension. It's going to come back. I don't know. I just feel like at some point this year, he's going to go out, and Dallas is going to be. You just can't replace him. You know what I mean? There's just not a backup on the roster that's going to give you 10% of what Elliott gives you on a weekly basis.
He's really good at football. I hope he just starts a party at home and just stay home. Like the NFL, it'd be cool to have Ezekiel Elliott around for a long time being really good at football. Be really cool for that.
Trust me, you don't think they want him with everybody that's gone down and got hurt so far? They need him. The Cowboys always get huge numbers when they have their games on anyway, but they need him. They need the Cowboys. Like the NFL needs the Cowboys to be good for ratings.
Amen.
They have to.
Business is business. Now the Tom Brady thing kind of debunks all that because he was the biggest star. He's the face of the NFL there for a little bit, and they suspended him 6 games. They didn't care. They gave him a 4-game break or whatever. So I'll be excited to see what they do with Zeke.
Yeah, we'll see. It's like they needed the Yankees to win to go to the World Series. Yankees Dodgers is a big deal. Yankees Astros is a big deal in Houston, but Houston doesn't transcend the nation like the Yankees do.
Houston's like what, the number 4 or number 5 city in America? How big is it? 5th largest city in America? Houston.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, they're going to be in. You need everybody. You need people in North Dakota watching, and I don't think there's a whole lot of Astros fans.
I'll tell you what, the Astros win after what happened in Houston. That'd be just like the Patriots winning in 2001 after 9/11. It'd be just like the Saints winning after the whole Katrina thing. If the Astros win, that'd be a really good story. I think everybody get around. Good for the Houston people.
Yeah, my default setting is to just root against the Yankees, even though I know an LA Yankees World Series would have been huge.
Oh, yeah, gigantic.
Yeah, I'm not one of these baseball is dying people, but it's going to take a hit. You know,
I think they're going to spin this Houston story into something gigantic. I think it's going to be like America's Got Talent when you latch onto a story, and I think that's just going to be something that happens. I think.
Might been a record-setting weekend in football for celebrations. I mean, they were all over the map. Jarvis Landry did a shot. He pantomimed doing a shot. I love that. Same game, Robbie Anderson jumps into the stands and then takes a seat. That was great. The entire show, though, stolen by Pittsburgh. Did you see what they did?
The hide and seek.
It was goofy. It was over the top, but the NFL's going to let this stuff happen. I say go all out.
Why didn't
Show
they
us.
tell Antonio Brown? Like, Antonio Brown was just sitting there, and Le'Veon Bell was hiding, and who was doing the seeking? Juju, right? Juju was doing the seeking. And Antonio Brown was just sitting there waiting to celebrate with him, and he was like covering his eyes, like, hold on, man, I got to count to 10 Mississippi. And nobody told Antonio Brown. Like, I think that's the biggest thing I got out of all of it. Was like, cool idea. I like the concept, but maybe tell Antonio next time. So that doesn't happen to Antonio.
That's a little anti-Antonio Brown backlash.
I don't
The
know.
bad boy a couple of weeks ago. Maybe they're not letting him play well with the other kids.
I don't know. It didn't look good. I know that. I know he needs to call God on that one. That's his thing is call God. I think he need. I don't know why they didn't tell. I'm upset they didn't tell him. I'm gonna ask him.
No, they need to let the celebration that my favorite of all time is still when they squat and you take a dump with the ball, but they don't let that one in.
Yeah, do that. In
Oh,
the Super
good.
Bowl.
Yeah, when Doug Baldwin, little ball of anger, Doug Baldwin, you got 50 yards. They didn't. Not only
They cut away.
never said what the 15 yards were for. They didn't even make a vague reference to it until people released their own, cell phone videos of it. Nobody knew. When I was a kid, the Patriots had a linebacker named Sam Hunt who was about 280 pounds. Like, he
Great
totally didn't look like a
musician.
linebacker. And he had a scoop and score, the only touchdown of his career, and he did that. He pretended to crap it out, and it was one of the greatest moments of my childhood. Like, I loved it. I don't remember being emotionally scarred from it. I don't remember thinking, oh, I wish I was spared the horror of this. But Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels decided I didn't need to know about a crucial play in the Super Bowl because it would harm America's children.
You think that's on them, Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels?
They're in the rear. I'm just, they're just shorthand for NBC saying we're not.
Yeah, it's not. That's that wouldn't be on them. That's for whoever the producers and directors are of the show
I think
cutting
that's the
away from it.
NFL.
But they could have cut back to I guess Collinsworth and Michaels could have at least referenced it and said something about it.
Right. I mean, there is a book called Everybody Poops, and there's a reason it was written because everybody poops. Like, you're not telling anyone something they don't know.
I tell my lady that all the time because my lady and I live together. I let her know that everybody poops, so if she needs to poop when I'm around, like, hey, we're in this together. I understand that your asshole has got to do what it's got to do too. I let her know everybody poops. There's a book. Everybody poops. I mean,
Is that just to try to butter her up so she'll take the ice cube to the hemorrhoid?
AJ, listen. It's just one of the most outrageous things you've said in a long time. And I need
Absolutely not.
I need you to stop it. All right? I'm not trying to get any hot dogs or ice cubes in my ass. You hear me, AJ? I'm not trying
First off, I could care less. No judgment. Whatever you do is fine by me. I could
you
care
said
less.
it with a lot of judgment. There, didn't you?
There's zero. I do not care at all what people are into. Trust me. No judgment whatsoever.
You have a hawk tiger on your finger. Okay? And you're staring at me with those eyes as if you're judging my butthole activities. And I just don't appreciate it. Jerry and I have been talking about this. We're done with it. Right, Jerry?
Yeah, I just think we should probably do a separate podcast every week that's just about Pat's Schwenker.
Well, listen, I'm going to get over this. This is my first battle with said disease of hemorrhoids. I mean, this is like becoming a man. This is like my yarmulke moment. This is a...
no, if you become a man, you cut it out. That's what men do.
You need to cut it. No way. I'm not doing that.
Then you're gonna be dealing with this forever.
Just gotta blow out your colon. You know what I mean? You just gotta let it go. If it's not going, just come back later on.
Blow out
That's my. Yeah, I think you're trying to force it. That's why you're getting the hemorrhoids, right? It's not from squats like AJ was saying. It's from it's not time for you to do number twos, and you're trying to force it out.
I don't think that's what's happening. I think
Blowing
too
up
much is happening. I'm like, I don't force it. It comes by itself. It's a party that shows up uninvited on a very regular basis. And I think that's why I can eat up near 15,000 calories a day and not be 700 pounds yet. It's just because this asshole is Grand Central Station of shit. It never stops. There's people coming and going at all times, and it just never, ever stops.
There's a party in his rectum, and everybody's invited.
On the way out, though, nobody's coming in. It's already at capacity. The party is already at capacity. You're not getting in. I don't care how much you tip the bouncer.
Pretty good.
A couple of things before we go. I never saw this before. Maybe it's common now with the concussion protocol or whatever. Mike Wallace from Baltimore comes off the field, insists that he's okay, so they hid his helmet from him.
That's normal. That's normal.
Really? I swear to God, like the cameras followed him. He was going around like looking in things for it. Like they've got those big, giant steamer trunk looking things, and he's lifting the lid. Like they hide your helmet to keep you from going on the field. Did they do that to you ever, AJ?
No, not for concussions. In college, they did when I got a little scuffle and slammed my head on the ground and sliced my forehead and was bleeding all over the place. Because I had to get it glued shut, and so I couldn't wear a helmet for like a day, so they kind of took it from me. But no, I mean with a concussion thing, yeah, that's completely normal to hide a dude's helmet.
By the way, AJ took his head into the turf so hard that he sliced open his head, and they had to glue it back together, and he fought them for not being allowed to go back on the field so much that they had to hide his fucking helmet. AJ,
Well, I was like 19. Like I thought if I didn't practice that they would cut me.
You were geared up.
I was geared up like Pat was when he was in Columbus.
Yikes. I didn't do any gear, cuz I didn't get geared up at all. But I have seen people hide helmets because of said concussion protocol. I've seen that before.
And you never know if Mike Wallace, like he might have thought he was looking for a cupcake or something. He didn't know. Like you don't know he's looking for his helmet if he goes in the protocol.
CTE City right there. What's that?
No, but can't the coach just say, "Don't send him in"? Like, yeah, you're gonna have his helmet.
Those are two
yeah,
different
but
worlds.
they don't want it. They don't want to chance it because think about how bad that looks, Pat. If he finds his helmet, he just sprints onto the field and they're like, "Wait, what's Mike doing?" He runs even one play. That's on the coaches and the trainers and everybody.
And you got to know the trainers and the coaches are two different worlds too. The coaches have their headphones on and the trainers are doing their own thing. Trainers have to go up to each individual coach at said times and say like, "Hey, this guy's down." Have to go to the D-line coach, the head coach, a special teams coach. Word cannot get passed to some people at some time because, I mean, that's just the way it goes. It's a lot of things going on the sideline.
On the topic of injuries, might end where we began, which is in Cleveland. The end of an era, boys. Joe Thomas missed plays.
R.I.P. in peace, bro.
First time in 10,300 snaps that he came off the field. Like, as if things couldn't be worse in Cleveland. I've told you this before. I'll say it again. That team is an abomination. Like, it should never have existed. It's like somebody played God with nature and they created a new Cleveland Browns, and it's cursed. And we should have killed it and burned its nest so that it couldn't reproduce. And instead, we should take that team that's there that will never be good, that is going to be haunted with terrible quarterbacking and the worst defense in the world forever, move them to England and call them the Knights or something. Move them to Mexico City and just, you tried to reboot the Cleveland Browns. You never should have done it.
I went golfing with the guy who owns the company of the naming rights to the Cleveland Browns Stadium. And I don't remember what it was, but I just so happened to play in a Pro-Am.
First Energy.
First Energy. Yeah, the guy that owns First Energy. He started out as like just a little local guy in his own little office, and then now he owns First Energy, and he's the naming rights. And he doesn't sit in a suite. He sits in the stands because he's like a day one Cleveland Browns fan. Their fan base is so fucking loyal. It is such an incredible fan base. They do not deserve what has happened to them. I've heard a coach say, you haven't really coached in the NFL until you've been fired from the Cleveland Browns. Like, that's just a standard thing. Like, I'm just going to go to Cleveland. It's going to suck. I'm going to get fired. That's a standard conversation. Like, Cleveland is just, I don't get it. They have athletes, it seems like every year. They have a potential, and then it's just a complete shit show. And the Cleveland Browns, the dog pound, does not deserve it anymore. They don't deserve it. I'm taking a stand for it. They don't deserve it.
I thought they had a great draft, too. Myles Garrett comes in a couple of weeks ago. His first play, sacks a quarterback. Like, all right, this guy is legit.
Energy.
And yet, somehow managed to defy all logic and get worse as time goes on.
Their defense is all right, though, Jer. I mean, they only gave up 12 points. They got, Greg Williams, the old he was with Jeff
Bounty
Fisher, New Orleans, everything.
They were good today, but they on the year the quarterback passer rating against is like 120 or something. Like they turn everyone they face into last year's Matt Ryan, and that takes some doing.
It's probably tough, though. In the back of their minds, they know, like, all right, guys, we got to hold them under 6. Like, so they got to take some chances. You got to get some turnovers if you're on that Browns defense.
But none of that should stop the quarterback from going out till 2 in the morning. You know,
That's tough. That's a tough thing because Cleveland's a small town. Like, you can't just go out and not be seen. You're going to be seen.
The worst part is, like, that part is fine. Like, guys have done that. If you play well, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. But the fact that he had, like, he called himself an offensive meeting on Friday, like, morning, is that right? Well, first off, players only. If you're having players only meetings, you got problems. Like, players only meetings are the dumbest things ever. People do it sometimes to make the coaches feel like, oh, these guys are serious. We really care. No, they're stupid. Nothing gets done in those meetings.
They are fucking hilarious. I love them. God damn, I love them. I'm from the worse hood than you are. Let's do this. We in this together. Man, we've been here before. Let's go, dog. Everybody do your shit. I'm battling through this. You need to do this. It's always like all of the good players talking to all the bad players. Like, hey, man, y'all need to fucking get it together. Like, it's a team. No shit. Those players only meeting are the biggest hustle in media in history. When anytime a coach can say that a players only meeting happened, it's 100% just for the fucking fans. So they think that something's happening underneath. The same shit's going to happen the next day. There's been times where some guy, like we had a players only meeting, and they were talking about accountability. This guy got in front of the whole room. Accountability. Next day, he showed up late to a meeting. I'm like, bro, less than 12 hours ago, you were standing right there just telling me about accountability, and I didn't even say a word in that meeting, and you just showed up late. Like, what are we doing? It makes no sense, Jerry, those fucking players only meeting. And a rookie's calling it. That's fucking outrageous. That is one of the most outrageous things I've ever heard. A rookie calling a players only meeting is the most absurd part of that whole thing. The most absurd part of that whole thing.
If he runs a really good meeting, what if he gives them helpful advice like, we need to step up. We gotta start making plays.
We need to score points on offense.
we gotta work hard. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have one during the week, the three of us, and we're just gonna. We need to podcast it better. We need to watch the games better. We're gonna be accountable. We're gonna stick together on this.
And then one of us will show up late to next week's game, like in next week's podcast. Some of us will show up on Monday, and the show will be over. That's what happens after all those fucking player meetings. It always happens. Never ever fails. Never ever 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 fails. Because bad teams do bad shit. That's just what happens.
Listen, this is not a bad team, damn it. We don't need me. Just go out and keep doing our jobs. It's a fun week. If you guys got anything else to add, now's the time.
I do not. Pat, the one thing Pat really did, Pat hit every single cliche that has been said in any players-only meeting that has ever taken place in the NFL or college football. He really did.
Did I not? I saw you starting to laugh over there. I thought I was scratching you right where your dick was there when I was rolling.
Yeah, you really were. Like, I was starting to get flashbacks of sitting in the back row of a horrible players-only meeting when I just want to go home. And they're like, AJ, you got anything? It's absolutely not. And I walk out the door.
I wish you would have went up there, though. Like, Vinatieri one time told me, he was like, man, I got to fucking speak at this players-only meeting. What should I say? I'm like, I don't know, fucking whatever you're saying, make it quick, though. Let's get out of this fucking thing, man. Jesus Christ. What are you going to do? You're going to motivate people that fucking millions of dollars can't do? Like, if these dudes can't be motivated by their goddamn salaries, what the fuck are you going to say? It's outrageous.
You got one. Hold it in the fire at 1:30 a.m. Now you have my attention. That's a reason for me to sit there and listen to your bullshit if you're paying. Well, fellas, this is great. Love talking to you. It was another fun-filled and exciting week of football, and there's no better way to cap it off than talking to you cats. AJ Hawk is at official AJ Hawk. Pat McAfee is at Pat McAfee Show. I'm at Jerry Thornton 1, and we are on Twitter and Instagram as @Lazy